Okay, well, today we're going to address a big issue with people who are on the fence regarding EVs. One of the big things is, how far will it go? That's always the first question. And the second is, where am I going to charge it? How am I going to maintain this thing and keep it working? So I think I already talked about a little bit about the how far will it go. But today what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do a little bit on the infrastructure, on how you charge these things, how you work with them on a daily basis so that you can actually use them in a common sense way. And by infrastructure, I'm talking about your garage. How do you charge your car? How do you keep it charged so that you get your 250, 300 miles per day out of your EV? So to do that, the best thing we can do is jump out in the garage and actually look at how the common person just does the common sense thing. And after that, we'll take a little ride in the car and kind of look around at some of the public charging. But like I say, I have used public charging now 3 times in 3 years. And the last 2 times, I think I charged for under 2 minutes just to see how it worked. Because I've only really used public charging once, where I actually put more juice back into the battery. The rest of it is just like most EV owners, is done right in the garage. So let's go talk about that. Well, here we have my infrastructure. So here's my Kia Niro, which is plugged in. We had been driving this for about a week, some 50-mile trips, that kind of thing, and we got it down to about, I think I had 30 miles left on the guessometer. So we plugged her in last night. So that's like the first time in a week we've plugged this in. And this is a level 2 charger here. We'll go ahead and unplug him and put him away over here. And we got the Bolt there, which is fully charged, which we normally keep them all peaked out. Put this guy back where it belongs. Well, this thing's kind of a pain, to tell you the truth. There. That one over there has a seal around the door, so it doesn't have that little plastic thing. That's one thing I like about the Bolt better than this one. But we've got a level 1 charger here, which is just a 110 volt unit. This came with the car. You plug that in an outlet. Same place my refrigerator plugs in, and that'll trickle charge it basically. So we either use that one, or if we need to drive somewhere, like we're heading to the cities now. So I plugged this in last night and it said it had 6 hours to charge. So we got up this morning. This one's fully charged, ready to go. That one's fully charged, ready to go. And they're basically always fully charged, ready to go. So here's the deal. Pretend you had, and I said this before, you had a gas pump in your garage, and every night your cars would fill themselves. So you'd never go to the gas station. They'd always be full. And that's the way it works. These things are always charged, ready to go. And I can go, well, this is winter. So, inefficiency of the battery and the heater running, I'm limited to about 170 miles, really. 150 practically. And you're thinking, oh my God, I'll never get anywhere. If you have to drive over 150 miles, you need a different job. It's more than workable. We don't have any problem. And if I have to drive, 130, 140 miles, you can stop at a public charger. So we'll look at that too and see in the rare case where you really need to charge up in order to get home. Let's look at that scenario also. All right, put on the seat belt. We're going to take the Chevy Bolt here, for a little ride. Let's see, where's my phone? Got to have my phone. Phone plugged in. Ignition. Garage door. I found it opening the garage door before you hit reverse. That's a fine idea. Not that I ever backed into a garage door, but I used to own a garage door company, and I would repair doors where people would not open the door and think they should back out. Not a good plan. There was also people that had 2 9-foot doors and they get their remotes mixed up. So they hit the button, hear the garage door opening, and they discovered that the door that opened was not the one that was behind their car. Fancy that. So anyway, ongoing. Charges puppy up. This is the Bolt now. I did a little bit there on the Kia, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why or how I handled charging and that stuff. So this car was plugged in a couple days ago, and it was brought up to 80% charge, and it's just kind of sitting there. It says I have 160 miles on the Gesimaketer, so I'm guessing it's probably fairly accurate. I'm probably going to end up with 170 because it's a little bit down now because it's running the heat. But once it catches up, it well, see, now it already went up to 178 miles, just like that, because it warmed up in there. I had the heater running in the garage, so my car was already at 70 degrees. It's nice having a heated garage, I can tell you that much. So I'm going to do a couple things here. We're going to zing by some charging stations just to kind of say a few things about them, their location, and ease of operation, and various things like that. There, I had to make a little adjustment on the furnace. And I'm going to run out to the thrift store. I've got some. Today we went to Kohl's, and I bought some new tenny runners, which are slip-ons, which are really nice. And those are my walking shoes. When the weather gets nice, I'm kind of a pussy. I don't go out when it's 0 and walk. There's ice and stuff. I'm not too brittle. I'm pretty confident I can fall down and bounce, but I just don't like getting cold. Really kind of gotten to be a real puss, but once it gets up into like 30 or so, I like to walk. I'm about a mile from everything, so if I need something at Ace Hardware, I just walk there, or O'Reilly's or whatever. If I need a gallon of blinker fluid or something like that, I'll just walk over there. Otherwise, I will take my e-bike. Love riding my e-bike. That is a lot of fun. I just ride around for no particular reason. I'm kind of like Forrest Gump. It's really nice on a nice warm day to get on the e-bike and just cruise around town. You get the air in your face, and before the golf course opens, I'll take it down the cart paths, and it's just fun. So anyway, looking at a great big bird. I don't know what it was. On my way out to the thrift shop to dump off this stuff, that's where I'm going right now, and we're going to zing by a couple charging stations. So let's take a look at one which I just happened to be within feet. Now, what I want you to pay attention to is location. So here I'm driving by a strip mall, and we have like a Verizon store. We got Haircut Techs and Papa Murphy's, Anytime Fitness. What else we got over here? We got the THC store, and I guess you can buy marijuana there, and Colburn's grocery store. So here's the deal here. Whoever put this here, which was the city of New Prague, they have charging stations here, very well placed. They have, let me get my phone out here so we can actually show you what they look like. So there we have one, which is the fast charger, and then we have two level 2s over there. And then over here we have Go-Burns. And over there we have the strip mall. So you can see there's a few things over that way. And let's buzz around. I'll do a quick U-type turn here in the parking lot. And what do we have here? We have O'Reilly's, McDonald's. Right there we have Mac and Don's Supper Club. Right there. So basically, there, put my phone back in there. So basically we have all these facilities around the charging station. And as I said, that's a smart location, because if I was traveling from out of town, I would probably plug in there and I would waltz on over to Mac and Don's and get something to eat. Or I can go across the street to Quick Trip, which is just across the road, and get a burger or something. Or I can go into Go-Burns. They have meals and stuff there. Or I can walk a block down the road to Hy-Vee, where they have a lot of, good food to eat. And I'm just driving by here. Scooters. Scooters Coffee is right here. So what I say that it's a smart location is, while you're waiting for your car to change, you can take care of a lot of other things like food. And here this is probably 3 blocks away. We're going to pull over here. And what we have here is a Ford dealership. And this Ford dealership, I should say, and in this Ford dealership, E-I-E-I-O maybe, huh? There's a charging station. There's a charging station. So there's 2 of them here. You can do 4 cars. So that's pretty handy dandy. There's another set of fast chargers I'm driving by now, which I'm not going to show you, but those are not for public use. Those are for use for the dealership itself. And I guess if you're going to sell EVs and you have a dealership that sells Fords, you have to put in the infrastructure to charge. And here again, another smart move. You got to look at how the strategy is. If you put charging stations at a Ford dealership, what are you going to do while you're charging? You're probably going to walk around the lot. If it's summer and nice, you're probably going to go on a little hike around the lot here and look at cars. And if they have electric cars, well, you're going to look at those. Of course you are. That's just common sense. And there are people in this country, hard to believe, that do have common sense. And I will say, most of them are driving electric cars, because electric cars really do make sense. It's a common sense vehicle. Now there's a Chevy dealer here, which I'm driving by right now, owned by the same outfit. This is Belzer's. Belzer Chevrolet, they own the Ford dealership in town here too. And they don't really have a charging station at this location, but they do have a level 2 charger that you can use. Using over it. To me, in the apps that I have, I only have level 3 chargers or DC fast chargers, because there's no reason why I would use a level 2 or level 1. You want to use a level 2 so that you can somewhat assimilate being in a gasoline powered car, where you don't waste a lot of time filling the tank. Common sense. But if I was going to a motel or something, and the preference was they had a level 2 charger, even a level 1 charger that I could use while I stayed there, I would probably stay there even if it would cost a couple dollars more. Alright, I'm here at the thrift store, so I shall drop off my stuff and then we will continue once I return. Alright, so this town of mine here is about 7,000 people. So we got one charging station I'm driving by now, which is the Ford dealership, and they have 4 charging cords. So that's 2 stations. Each station has 2 cords. And those are DC fast chargers. Coburn's over here, which was the first place we went by. They have a DC fast charging, which can do CHAdeMO or a CCS1, which are just different plug types. And then they have 2 level 2 chargers, so those don't really count. In my book, they don't count, but at least they're there. So there's facility there to plug in. Let's see, four vehicles. And we're going to drive by another place here, which most people don't even know this exists. And I'm going to be honest, nobody in town here, as far as I know, uses any of these. None of them get used by town people. But how many people? Well, here again, you've got to look at the difference between gas and electric. If you got a gas car, you're probably going to fill up before you leave town. If you have an electric car, you're already full because you charged overnight. So you skip the whole buy before you go thing. You're gonna charge your car. You're gonna buy your fuel at a location other than here. So these chargers are not for us. These chargers are for everybody who comes here. Now you can't really see this. Oh, there's a car plugged in there. There's a Tesla plugged in here. This is a let's see, there's 4 charging cords here. This is a clinic, and they have Tesla chargers here. Now I believe these are just slow chargers. These are level 2s, and these are free to use. You can charge up here free, but like I say, I don't think I know of anybody who does. I think the people that work at the at this location, one of them has a Tesla, so they charge here. And a lot of employers will provide plug-ins for workers so they can plug in and charge. It's just a perk that they have as part of their employment. And well, and you got to look at it too. The employer can write it off, so it doesn't really cost them anything. What they spend on electricity, they get back in tax write-off. So that's kind of fun. Uh-oh. I don't want to run into that guy. He's got a blue car that says police on the side. Like, police, don't hit me. I know the police in town are pretty good. I did network service for the city, so I also got to know them pretty good. Good guys, They're out there just doing what they have to do to make sure we don't all get killed. So we're going to go to one more station here. And like I said, this is a town of 7,000 people, and there's not that many electric cars, I don't think. I don't know. I never really did a survey on who drives electric cars in town or not, but I know there's a Cybertruck and there's a couple Rivians and quite a few Teslas. You see Teslas around, and you get up toward the metro areas and you see a lot of Teslas. But small towns are kind of, I don't know, in general, I'm painting with a wide brush here, I understand this. I'll just say conservative, which means kind of against new stuff. It takes a while for people to, get past the media blitz and actually use common sense. And you don't want to be an early adopter. You want to be toward the forefront, but you don't want to be early to the party, because that's what we call in computer language, we always call that the bleeding edge. It's highly expensive to stay up to date. And as technology comes into play, like I mentioned before, it becomes extinct about the time you buy it. Constant improvement. Okay, this is downtown. So we're downtown New Prague, Minnesota, and I'm going to hang right here at the Chamber of Commerce, right next to my buddies at the police station here. City Hall and the police station. Now they're moving the police station eventually here to a new building, and this is City Hall. Did a lot of work here. My contract with the city was keeping up the computers and stuff here. And right here is a level 2 charger. And there's 2 cables here, and these are Zeph Energy, Zeph Energy. These are level 2s downtown, which are not free. I believe they're like 25 or 23 cents a minute. Although I think those go by time. I think it's 43 cents an hour or something, or I don't know. I actually don't know. I think they go by the minute though, which is kind of dumb. But anyway, here again, the only people that use those are visitors from outside of town. If they're shopping downtown here, they'll park there, plug their car in, and then walk down the main street here. You know, we've got bakery and jewelry stores and knick-knacky shops and optometrists, and I don't think we have any pestrometrists, if there is such a thing. Bars, we got the bars. We got City Club and all kinds of stuff. So stuff to shop around and waste time. We've got a mill here, an old flour mill, and they're coming soon. A gun range. You're gonna have a gun range in there because we like our guns. But they're going to turn that into like a mini mall thing, which I think is a wonderful idea. So I'm kind of anxious to see how that works out. So that's kind of the tour of charging setups, and every town is kind of like this. They put in these charging systems, but they're not for the locals. They're for people coming through town. It's just like me. Now, I mentioned this numerous times, going down to Kansas from here. And what do I look at? I look at where am I going to, well, I do it on my app, and I'll show you the app here I use in a second. Various places I'm going to stop and pick up the old juice here. None of them are in town here. I'm going to leave town with 100% charge. I'll max out my battery so that I get that first stretch is going to be a long one. So I'm going to, maximize the amount of juice I have in the old cradle here. And then, you plan your stops accordingly after that. And every one of the charging stops where I'm going to go is going to be either at a convenience store, or it's going to be at a privately owned rest stop, like one of the big truck stops, one of those things. And here again, the placement is just pure logic. Put the charging locations, make sure they're in a spot where people can spend money while they're waiting for their car to get charged up. Food places are natural. A big commercial rest stop, well, why wouldn't you put electric charging stations there? Go inside and have something to eat, use the bathroom, buy a magazine. I mean, what do you do when you go to a stop like that? Of course you're going to take advantage of it. So that's just plain old smartness. That's a word I just invented, smartness. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the plug on this guy. And I'm going to do what you do normally. Normally I would plug this in, but seeing I only drove, I think I drove a total of about 10 miles just now, I'm not going to plug it in.